George, thank you for coming down, man.
Pleasure to be here.
We just had a whole podcast before the podcast.
The podcast before the podcast.
Well, welcome to San Diego Pod. The whole goal of this show is to highlight and kind of put a spotlight on San Diego's best, and you're one of those for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Multiple recommendations for you for the show, so glad to have you on.
You're too kind. Appreciate it.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland. My father's FBI, 50 plus years. My mom worked on Capitol Hill, so come from a small family, went to Boston College. Was fortunate enough, I was there through 2003, but in 2002 was right the end of the tech crash, and all of my friends were going abroad to study second semester junior year, and I was like, man, if I don't go and get an internship, there's no chance in hell I'm getting a job after graduating. And I was fortunate enough, get a call from Merrill, went down there, got in there, and there were like 10 or 11 of us there, and I was able to get one of the two positions, and so spent that junior summer living at Rutgers and working at their headquarters in Princeton, and then second week senior year got the offer, 55-10, thought it was all the money in the world. It was at that time. It was unbelievable. And that took the stress off my senior year. So went straight, worked with Merrill Lynch for 11 years, had an amazing career there. Nothing I would really change about it. Looking back, just great relationships, challenging, stimulating, really, really hard work. I mean, when we worked in Four World Financial Center, I mean, it was in there. You know, you're in there at 6 a.m. every day. You're doing 200 plus calls every day. You're not leaving until 7 or 8 at night. And then, you know, you're getting workout in, or maybe you're going out and you just do it again, man. I mean, high speed, low drag. But after a while, I think that just kind of wears on you, and you know, you realize there's more to life out there. And I came out here. My first trip to San Diego was running the Rock and Roll Marathon, and it's funny. So I mean, for a guy that's done a lot of running now at this point, I didn't know shit about running. And the last 10 miles of that marathon, when I was going past the aid stations, the volunteers had a wooden stick with this gooey substance at the end. And I'm like, oh, that must be this gel that everyone talks about. So I'm swiping these sticks and eating and swiping and eating. And I had been fueling on Vaseline for 10 miles. That's literally, that was the start of my running career. Really pathetic, embarrassing, but also like the placebo.
Did it taste good?
No, I mean, it tasted like nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very bland. So that was comical, man. But
the placebo effect.
The placebo effect.
You got a rush from it?
I was like, holy shit, if I can complete a marathon barely training, eating Vaseline, what if I actually trained and learned a little bit about nutrition?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the start. And then I was like, I'll do another one, and I'll do another one. I kind of fell in love with it. So I think the combination of just like starting to fall in love with the running, and I started doing a lot of philanthropic work around my running, because back then, you know, this is really kind of like pre-Instagram and really pre-ultramarathons being as mainstream as they are now. People started seeing me doing these crazy 100-milers all over the world. My first race, I went to the Sahara, and then I went to Australia and the Atacama and shit. And it's like, what the hell is George doing? But it was lighting me up inside. I mean, it's truly like becoming a passion of mine. And so I think just all of that, like by 11 years or so at Merrill, I was just like, man, like I'm done with the cold. I don't feel like I'm really growing. I'm stagnating now. Just all this running and this charity work and traveling the world is really like lighting me up. And then I came out to San Diego, and I realized, well, this isn't just a vacation town. People actually friggin' live here, which is bananas, like coming from the East Coast. And I was like, boom, like, let's do it. Let's make the move. So came out here, been out here for about 10 years now, and just like love every second of it.
Yeah. I mean, I came out here from Boston. I was 23 when I came here. I'm 32 now.
Yeah.
And I came out here and I was like, you know what? I left my job. I had nothing going, no girlfriend, nothing.
Right.
Now I got a kid, married, house, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when I came out here with the intention of, hey, I'll do a year out here, and if it doesn't go well, I can always go back.
Always go back, yeah.
And I'm so happy I did, and San Diego is such a perfect place in the world. I just, nothing beats it.
No, for sure. And that's badass, man, because I think a lot of people do that, and then they realize how hard it is to make ends meet out here.
Yeah.
Because it is expensive. Yeah. And it is a challenge. And like, if you have that safety net in the back of your mind, it's very easy to come out here and be like, you know what? Okay, I did it, and I'll go back home. But kudos to you. Yeah,
well, I mean, look, like when I first came out here, I remember driving along in La Jolla and Pacific Beach and thinking like, you know, a lot of this is probably generational wealth, but there's a lot of people that live here that figured it out.
Sure.
So why not me? Like, I'm not, you know, none of these people are are geniuses. None of them have 10 hands or something
Right,
like
right.
they, they figured it out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So when you came out here, where did you move to, and how did you end up out
Where,
here?
where do you think I moved to?
Yeah, to downtown probably.
No. Where do you
Pacific
move?
Beach?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. I didn't even know about Pacific Beach.
Law
when I
Street
came here.
Beach. It's
Yeah.
it's a rite of passage, baby.
Okay, all right. That's good. Did you come out here with the plan of moving to Pacific Beach?
No, I came out here. I had a couple friends out here. I said, hey, I'm gonna pop in and stay with you guys for a few weeks. And I'm gonna look around. But I mean, again, it's like you want the antithesis of what you've had. If you come in from Boston and you're living in the Northeast and you're shoveling snow, I want the beach.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I found this great spot. It was like the second house right off that grass area where they do the outdoor yoga. I was like, done.
Nice.
Lock it up. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, San Diego is, it's funny because I always leave. I go back to Boston. I got family all over the country, so travel a lot. And there's always this little voice that's like, oh, what if we move somewhere? And then, I fly back in. You see the city.
Oh, that's the best.
And,
The flight back in is insane. I always got to make sure, try and sit on the left-hand side and seeing the skyscrapers coming in. And it's great. It's one of the best things about going on vacation, right? You're actually excited to come back.
Yeah, which is weird because I never felt like that living anywhere else,
Yeah, you go to Europe in the summer and then you're flying back to Boston. It's like, oh man, this is such a buzzkill.
Yeah, especially like the middle point of winter when like winter's not even fun anymore. The snow's dirty. There's no Christmas to look forward to. It just sucks. So, yeah. All right, so we talked a little bit about you going from the corporate world to kind of more of the entrepreneurship, investor world. One thing that really hit for me when we talked before the podcast was talking about feeding off energy in other people. So, I mean, you're on the floor, you're working Wall Street, you're with all of these extreme high performers, and then you go to being working for your own. The world sort of transitions into a little bit of a, work from Zoom kind of thing.
Yeah.
How has that affected you in your business?
It is tough. I mean, honestly, I don't think I perform at the level that I did in that environment or I do in that environment. Like I would love to have that on a day-to-day basis. It's really not possible with what I'm doing right now, but I'm just very competitive. And, I'll never forget when I started at Merrill, like I was asking everyone else, when's everyone showing up? And I'm going to show up 15 minutes before. And I just want to be the first one in the office, whether I'm doing anything or not. Like, I just want to set that precedent. And I think like on the floor at Merrill, like, it was like, who can take the most phone calls? Like I want to take the most phone calls. And when you're working from home, you're doing Zooms or whatnot, it's very easy to be like, I'm kind of slacking. I'm just not operating at my highest.
Yeah. Especially San Diego on its own is such an easy place to get complacent.
Oh, for sure. Like I'm gonna go walk around, just go to the beach, take the elevator down, jump in the sauna, go to the pool. I mean, you got unlimited options here. It's wild. You really have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Disciplined or fearful, that you're, because again,
you're like not going to be able to stay.
Yeah. And that's kind of when I moved out here, that's what I encountered, and it made me like have to figure it out. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about your run across America. So you ran across the United States.
Yeah. So when I moved out here, I had gotten involved in a few businesses and I had some real estate from my days at Merrill and stuff. So I really didn't have a day-to-day, and I had always dreamt about doing that. And it just seemed like right time, right place, right age. Growing up in Annapolis, a lot of my buddies from high school, they went to the Naval Academy. They went and served abroad. They put their lives on the line when I got to go to Wall Street and make a lot of money. And so I always felt this debt of obligation to want to serve and give back in my own way. And that's what my running really became. And so when I decided, I moved out here, I was like, I would love to run across America. I want it to impact every single person in every single town. And I want to use it to say thank you to our veterans and to also help with reacclimating to civilian life, transitioning home from the battlefield. Again, I've gotten to know, again, I'm not going to say I know day to day, or I haven't experienced it personally, but I've talked with hundreds of guys, and what they go through, what they see, what they experience is horrifying. And it can haunt them forever. And then when you come back home and you went from this asset, and a lot of times they view themselves, I was the greatest asset ever, and now I feel like I'm a liability and I can't get a job, I can't take care of my family. And it's like they feel so down on themselves. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And it's like, to me, I'm like, we cannot leave any of those guys behind. So I wanted to do this run to say thank you to them and raise as much money as I could to help, with that problem, because I think that's one thing, whether you're on the left or the right, we can all unite behind. We all should.
Yeah, and I mean, I can feel it right away. It's genuine. Like a lot of people have these causes. They feel,
No.
especially when you make money, you feel like you have to be charitable. But I can feel
I
it's
have
genuine.
I have two causes that I support in my life. The other one's children's growth disorders because my goddaughter Lucy has a severe condition there, and they're both very personal to me. And that's it. Like if you're out there, you're always fundraising. I got this cause and I got that cause. And if you got a million causes, you got no causes. Like these two are two things that I will fight and die for the rest of my life. 100%.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really good, and it gives you kind of a bigger purpose to serve too. You know,
That's my way of serving. Like at this stage in my life, unless there's some crazy draft that comes out, and trust me, I would go if there was. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be deployed, never putting on the uniform of the United States of America, right? So like my way of serving, the way I'll continue to do is what I do, which is one of my passions, which is crazy or extreme to a lot of people. To me, it's not, but it provides me a platform to discuss these different issues that I really care about and hopefully make a difference, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Are you familiar with Perry Yee, Active Valor? I'll connect you.
Okay.
You guys definitely got to connect. He's a retired Navy SEAL.
Cool.
He's got a nonprofit called Active Valor.
I've heard of it, but I don't know. Is he local?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
Yep. He's here. Yeah, I'll connect you guys. Think
Yeah,
you guys
sweet.
should meet.
But yeah, so I mean, the run it was 18 months of planning. You know, the kickoff was on the USS Midway the morning of 9/11. I mean, which will go down as a top 5 day in my life. I don't care what I do from here to the rest of it. Like nothing will surpass that. We had Jeff Kyle, the brother of American Sniper, Chris Kyle there, who was a big part of the whole run. And he spoke, and Al Kovac, Paralyzed Veterans of America, and he spoke, and Talon Smith, who was one of Chris's best friends, he spoke. So we had like 5 or 6 of the foremost authorities in the veteran community speaking on the USS Midway the morning of 9/11, and then boom, Top Gun soundtrack. We all run off the ship together up Pacific Highway, hundreds of us, and then we start going east on Friars, and then every half mile people are dropping off, and at that time, by the time I got to Qualcomm, it was just me.
Wow.
And then made it out to Alpine the first night, and it was wild, but that was such a special event. I can't even put it in the words. We had all the media there, and I mean to have people like Jeff Kyle, you see the way he's portrayed in the movie, but like when you spend 3 weeks on the road with him, I mean, there's not another human on the planet that I think higher of. Like Jeff Kyle is just the man, and Talon has become a great friend of mine. We run High Rocks together, and Al Kovac lives here in Coronado. He's become a great friend of mine. So I got so many great relationships out of it that's probably the thing that I'll take away most. But then the actual physical 5 million steps across 14 states. There's like 117 marathons. And then the injuries I sustained, the heat, the cold, getting jumped by Border Patrol, like swimming across the Mississippi River in
Getting
Memphis.
jumped by Border Patrol?
This is crazy. So, so we started, obviously, I was saying we started on 9/11. So it was hot as hell. Once you got on the other side of the mountains, like over, where the windmills are, Ocotillo, and down in the El Centro. I mean, it's 100.
So were you running on the 8?
Well, I did a little bit. You're not supposed to run on highways, so I was running on frontage roads most of the way.
Dang,
and
that adds so much time.
Oh, it adds so much time. And then when we cut through the mountains, we were on the Mason Valley Truck Trail. I'll never forget. This was day 2, and Tucker, who was one of my crew guys, he took a backpack, and we had to go on foot. And I had an RV and a pickup truck that were my support vehicles. They had to drive all the way around the mountains, and we cut straight through them, and we did 14 miles, crazy technical terrain that took all night. And I fell a bunch of times and ended up sustaining some injuries there that got a lot worse along the way. So that was crazy getting through there. Yeah, I would have loved to run on the 8. That would have made it much easier. But when we dipped down, we got close to Yuma, you got those dunes out there. And so I was starting to do a lot of my miles at night because it was just so hot during the day in the desert. I'll never forget this. It was like day 4, day 5, and I'm running on the sand. The pickup truck's behind me. My buddy Brian's driving it. And then all of a sudden, we get lights coming at us from like all 4 directions. And I mean, these are bright spotlights. What the hell is going on? Next thing you know, guns on us, like, what are you guys doing and everything? I'm like, we're Americans, trust me, because we're right on the border.
Yeah.
And you don't see too many people with like a pickup truck and a runner at 1 a.m.
Yep.
a mile from the border.
Yeah.
And
They're probably just as surprised as you
they were
were.
surprised, and they're the coolest guys. And the majority of Border Patrol agents are veterans anyway. And then we told them what we're doing. They're like, "Oh, that's so cool." And a couple times, especially in New Mexico, they stayed with us in some of the more dangerous areas. They're like, "We'll ride along with you for a while." Everyone was so supportive of it, and it was incredible. But yeah, getting jumped by Border Patrol, that's one for the record books.
Yeah.
And it happened probably 8 or 10 times.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I bet.
yeah,
I mean, especially if you're running right
Yeah,
there.
because we were near the border for 600 miles, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of operations that happen there that we don't even know about, like crazy stuff that goes
shit.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where did you end? Where did your run end?
Ground zero.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you went from the midway. Wow. Starting from the midway and ending at ground zero.
Yeah,
cool.
we ran. It was basically due east through Arizona, New Mexico, and then running across West Texas. We're basically just on this 1-lane road felt like 500 miles, and then Fort Worth and Dallas, and then we turned northeast at that point, and then ran across the Red River, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Arkansas was beautiful. It was crazy though. Those roads were nuts. Every house had a guard dog, so it's like you're on this narrow shoulder, and it's like you don't want to dip off because there's a dog that might bite you. And then meanwhile, these drivers are absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
So there were so many times where I got run off the side of the road, and then it started getting cold and it was snowing, and then we decided to swim across the Mississippi River into Memphis, which was again another highlight. Why would you not do that? Like you're there, like instead of running across the bridge, swim across the river. So that was crazy. That was a lot of fun. And then running up all through my hometown, like running in Baltimore and DC and up through New Jersey. And then the last day was a crazy day. We had a big event planned, and it was 34 degrees and rainy, which kind of threw things for a loop. And I had 38 miles I think I had to do by 2 p.m. So we started early, and I'm running through rush hour traffic up from Harrison, New Jersey, like weaving between cars. And then me and Talon met up, and we had the flags and just ran through the entire city, ripped our shirts off, and finished at ground zero. It was amazing. It was truly extraordinary. And, along the way, there were a lot of really low moments, especially when I was injured early. The pressure of like feeling that obligation to finish it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at a lot of the times, which made it really hard. And when it looked like I was going to have to tap out, like one of our big financial backers pulled out, which added a lot more stress because then I had to pick up those economics as well. So like you're out there, you're killing yourself, you're injured, you're falling behind schedule. And now it's like the financial piece, and you're not sleeping, and then you're doing all these media events, and now you're doing a lot of public speaking, which is just even more pressure. So, I mean, it felt like I had an anchor around my neck that was dragging around 50 pounds the whole way.
So what did it feel like to finish?
Oh, I mean, it's just exhilaration, but also relief.
Yeah.
It was kind of more, it wasn't necessarily finishing. It was kind of like once we knew it was going to happen, like I think like the last couple weeks we're like, all right, at this point, unless something insane happens, it's more of a formality. But it was like those early days when you've got 2,800 miles to go, and the easiest thing to do is pull the ripcord. I had a partial tear in my Achilles. I had a hyperextended knee. I was wearing sandals for a few weeks. I couldn't put a shoe on, so I was running in sandals. Wow. I mean, it was bananas. And that's where people were like, Schimmel's not going to make it. And we sat down there, and it was like, I am never going to get another opportunity to do this. If I quit, I will never get another opportunity to do this. So I either find a way and adapt, or that's it.
Wow.
And so you find a way and adapt. So we go with the sandals. All right, it's going to take a little longer. So instead of being out there running for 10 to 12 hours a day, I might be hobbling or walking for 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
And my body kind of recovered through it. But I mean, to me, I was going to die or finish. I mean, literally that was my mindset.
Yeah.
And obviously, probably if it got to that position, they'd take me to the hospital, but that was my mindset. I have to get this done because I mean, I look at our warriors, man, you're trapped on a mountaintop in Afghanistan, and they're coming at you from every direction. There's no option to pull the ripcord.
Yeah.
You can't just get out of there. You go, oh, okay, I'm just going to go back to base. No, you're going to fight for your life. You're going to die. And that was the trying to warrior mindset that I tried to really embrace. And I embrace in all my ultra runs, that it's just like, there's no other option.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy to think when you hear of people who do ultra marathons, or you hear from guys who go through buds or anything like that, any selection process, our bodies are so much more capable than our brains allow us to
100%.
believe. I mean,
there's reserves, there's untapped reserves deep inside of you that you don't know exist. You just got to have the courage to find them.
Yeah.
Totally. that's why I tell people when they're looking to get into doing their first stuff, I was like, sign up, just go out there and do it. I meet runners all the time. They're way better runners than me, way more talented. They're faster, they're younger, whatever. But they're afraid they want to do it, but they're afraid. And I'm like, you just got to put yourself in the fire. Get in the arena, you'll figure it out. And if you don't finish, it's not the end of the world. At least you raised your benchmark. You were here, you shot for here, and if you landed here, that's still pretty good progress.
Yeah.
You know, so I always like, just get in the arena. And so, yeah, it's wild.
Get in the arena. Yeah. You know, in business too, I've noticed that these high performers, these people who, like you, who no matter what you do, you're doing really well with. Where do you get that? I mean, where is it ego? Is it the freedom of money? Because what I've noticed, I'll get a little more clear with this question.
Yeah.
What
It's
I've
a
noticed,
great question. I know where you're going with it.
yeah. Well, what I've noticed from a lot of high achievers is like people will go for money and they think they're going for the freedom, but they end up being a slave to money itself.
Yep.
You know, do you?
For me, it's like, for me, I don't care about materialistic things. I want to have enough money that I can do cool shit with the people I love. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it matters. I want to travel to Europe. I'm taking my dad to Lambeau on opening day. Boom. I want to get nice tickets. Don't want to think about it, right? Want to go over, want to do this, want to sign up to do this race, want to go climb Aconcagua. I want to be able to do that. So there is that freedom of, you know, I always say relationships and experiences, doing meaningful things with the people you love. Like, that's my personal mission statement.
Right.
Like, that's what drives me, is that, you know, my parents, they're getting older. I want to spend as much time with them as possible. My friends from Maryland and New York and Boston and Charlotte and all over, like, I want to be able to do cool shit with them. Like, I want to be able to do races like that. So that's a big part of driving me. I think it's just a little bit of just like gratitude, feeling blessed again, that, you know, you have to get lucky at times. And I think, you know, I earned it going down and getting my position at Merrill, but, you know, I was fortunate I got the interview and things just worked out. And sometimes one bounce can go one way or another, and that can change everything. And I've had bad bounces too.
Right.
Right. So it's like paying that back and then paying shit forward. You know, I just like time is fleeting. Time is limited. You never know when the next race will be your last or the next business will be your last. And, you know, I just don't want to look back with regrets. I feel like that's what you see a lot of people, especially when they're older. They just look back with regrets. So for me, it's like, you know, I want to do it all as much as I can while I can. And wherever that shot clock runs out, I'll know I didn't leave any chips on the table, and I can be proud of like what I contributed and my legacy and everything to the world. So I don't know if that's a great answer to it.
I literally in my head was thinking it was a great answer because it seems like that is what life is about. And it seemed like from what I'm getting, when you're at Merrill, you sort of realize like, hey, I'm on this hamster wheel.
I'm on this hamster wheel, and I'm like, I'm spending so much time not getting that piece of it. Now, granted, I was getting so much out of that was allowing me to do the other stuff. So, I mean, again, it's like, man, nothing's perfect.
Right.
Nothing's perfect. I wish I could blend parts of Merrill with parts of entrepreneurship and whatnot. And that, you know, that's the ultimate goal. But at the end of the day, I think it's like being appreciative for what you have and not focusing on what you don't is huge, I think. And if you wake up every day with purpose and you're happy, then you've won. And it doesn't matter how much money's in your bank account.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that to me, if I wake up and I'm fired up to get up, whether it's to go run or to, you know, go to a business meeting or jump on a 5 a.m. Zoom call or whatever, or just, you know, call my parents and tell them I love them, like whatever it is, man, if I'm getting up early and doing that, then I feel like I'm very blessed.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
So how do you plan your days? What do you plan your days?
Yeah, a little bit, but they're all over the map. I mean, right now I'm pretty piped in with Dropkick, and we've got, like, Pete and I are actually going on a 10-day road trip to the East Coast, and I'm going to connect him with a bunch of potential contacts and stuff. We're going to be in Miami, we're going to be in Jacksonville, DC, Baltimore, Boston. So there's big things that I put on the books like that where it's like, all right, I got to work around that. But outside of that, right now with the rebrand and launching Blue Oceans, there's infinite amount of work to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, I put in a 14-hour day, we're good tomorrow. No, you put in a 14-hour day for the next 6 months, and there's still gonna be more shit to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then it depends if I've got a race coming up or whatnot, or people. So it's very fluid.
Do you work in spurts? Like, do you have like 6 months where you're just go, and then you?
It depends what we're working on. Like, we just finished a fundraise for which I don't know if we should air that yet, but which was like bananas, like let's go, 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 let's get this thing done. And we closed it out in a month, which was awesome.
Right.
Like, that's like record shit there. So that's like hammered down. Or like when we did the rebrand, I mean, we flipped the studio in 48 hours. I brought my GC and his team in. Sunday, they worked 12 hours. Monday, they worked 12 hours. At 7 p.m. Monday night, they tapped out. They're like, my guys are done. We can't do anymore. We had to be open the next morning at 5 a.m. for a photo shoot. So me, my head trainer, Will, my GM, Josh, and a buddy of mine, Johnny, came in. We're like, hey, guys, we've got 10 hours to get this shit done. Those guys just left. If we don't get it done, we're screwed. And we pulled an all-nighter. And so we just stayed there. We built the rigs ourselves. We didn't know how to do that shit. We had stuff with the mats and the cart and all this stuff. And we stayed up all night, literally finished at 4 a.m. and then had the 5 a.m. photo shoot in our first class. And then I got on a flight to Europe at 8 o'clock. Like, I barely even packed. So it was bananas. So I like working on deadlines.
Yeah.
And I'm at my best with like a sense of urgency.
Yep.
If there's stuff where it's like, oh, we got to get this done a month out. Like, I'm just not really good at operating like that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's just the way I've been built and structured. Like, my time at Merrill, like, everything's a deadline.
Right.
Every day you got to be in there. It's so structured. You're always on. And then now where it's like, okay, well, you know, I don't have 15 meetings a day every day now. So, you know, you gotta just, again, stay disciplined and be careful that, you know, you don't take the other path.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Like, I'm just gonna chill for 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, San Diego, it's an easy place to get complacent.
For sure.
And especially when you start to do well, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy
Right.
to which maybe that's part of the point, but
I wouldn't hate playing a lot more golf, I'll tell you that much.
yeah, that's funny. All right, cool. So you're rebranding the gym. What's next for you?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've done a lot in life, but like the one thing I haven't done is like haven't had a family. And, you know, for me, that's really important. And, you know, now I'm in my 40s. It's like, okay. You know, I've never been one to follow societal norms. Like, I've always been pretty like hard on my sleeve, authentically shimmel, which is kind of a wild card out there. Like, but you know, I'm a generous, loyal, loving person. And, you know, I've had a lot of relationships and none of them have really worked out to the point where, you know, I was ready to make that commitment. And so, you know, I like, you know, congrats to you. And like, you know, I want to get married and have kids, but, you know, I don't want to make a bad decision. And, you know, I want to make sure I think the person you decide to spend the rest of your life with is probably the most important call you ever make. And, you know, I'm glad that I, you know, didn't make a bad call there, but I've also probably not put the focus on it because I do have so much other stuff going on that I probably should have. And so like, I don't want to look back and, you know, 20 years from now, regret that. So like, that's like the biggest thing and the one part of my life where I really feel like, you know, there's a gap there. There's a little, you know, whether emptiness or whatnot. Like I say, I'm happy every day, but that's also like a hole. And I'm willing to like admit that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's brave for you to even say that. Cause, you know, a lot of people too, I think that a lot of people do follow those societal norms. And I'm the same way. I've always been completely rebellious to that. And
well, especially with social media, right? It's like hard not to. And this whole like relative comparison culture that we have where it's like, this person's doing that and that person's doing that. Well, I should be doing that. Well, I'm not doing that. Well, F me, like I'm falling behind or something. I mean, that's really dangerous, man. Social media, it's amazing in a lot of ways, but I understand why the mental health crisis is where it's at. I mean, it smokes a lot of people. And people are vicious on there. I mean, the comments on a lot of stuff when people are out just trying to do the right thing and they get ripped to shreds. I mean, it's brutal.
Well, internet people are not real. Like nobody's commenting crazy shit in person. If they would, they would get the shit kicked out of them. You know,
they're
like
telephone tough guys.
Yeah. It's like, and most of those profiles don't even have
they don't
profile
have
picture
pictures or anything.
Yeah.
But still, like, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're the other end of that and you're getting hundreds of those comments, I mean, at a certain point in time, like, how does that not affect you?
Yeah.
I mean, I you know, I know everyone's just like, you know, it's very easy to say, oh, F that, or like, screw it. But like, I don't know. I mean, we're all human too. We all have emotions.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that we are in a place in social media where people are starting to really crave authentic. And I will give credit to this young generation. They may not know how to work, but their bullshit meter, their meter for authenticity is at an all-time high. They know how to spot real and fake like that.
Right.
And I think that that's really important. And I think that, you know, I mean, you and I didn't grow up with social media. We grew up in a completely different time.
No.
And, you know, I can't imagine what it's like to grow up as like an 8-year-old and have to deal with TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff.
It's crazy. Like, I just wanted to like run across the street and play football in my buddy's backyard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Bring back Blockbuster. How about that? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it.
You got it.
We're going to have you on again. We'll dive a little deeper. And is there any last messages you want to say to San Diego?
I appreciate all the hard work that's gone into cleaning up East Village, but there's still a lot of wood to chop. We still have homeless people coming in every day, busting into the gym, potentially shooting up in the bathroom, freaking out some of our female members. If we could put a little bit more of a focus on that, it would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, I love you, San Diego.
I think everybody agrees.
Yeah, man, it's terrible.
Until next time.
Okay.